Hi, I'm Tim Carter from HALCO. Today we're going to talk a bit about tackle maintenance and some of the jobs that you can do while we're stuck at home during this coronavirus issue. So I've got a number of lures here off the boat that are all in need of some maintenance. So let's take a look and see what we can do with them. So this one here, for example, let's put some glasses on so we can see. This is a Laser Pro 160 and unfortunately whoever was using it didn't wash it down, so we've got rusty hooks, we've just got to check all the toe points, all that sort of stuff. So the first thing to do is to take off these hooks because they're finished. So we just use a pair of our HALCO split ring pliers to take these off. As you can see, these are toast, so pretty much finished. They've had their lifespan, and we'll get rid of those and change them over to some nice new ones. So next thing is to put some new hooks on it. So we use mustard 2.0s for the Laser Pro 160 and we combine it with our fish rings, the number 4XX fish rings. So we've got a couple of fish rings here. The way I like to approach it is that I put the split rings on the hooks and then put the completed hook and treble arrangement, or hook and split ring arrangement, onto the lure itself. So I just find it easier. Other people may not find it easier, but that's the way I do it. So we've got these split rings. You come in just a little bit from the end, push the split ring, or push into the split ring like that, and we're on. So now we have our 2.0 trebles with the split rings on. The other thing I like to do is always have a bit of a look and make sure that the way that the treble goes, that it basically straddles the lure. So if you can see this part of the hook here, it will straddle the lure if I put it on the right way. Thread it on like this, and if you notice that the V of the hook actually sits on the lure there, so it sits nicely. If it was sitting around the other way, the point of the hook is going to tend to rub more that way, so I just like to do that there. We'll put the rear split ring on, and this lure should be good to go. A bit chewed up, but as we say, we're built to last. That one is now, although it's been chewed up and stuff, is ready to go and as good as gold. The next lure here is a Rooster 135. As you can see, it's scratched up and doing its job. We've got the design to bleed feature working nicely. It's all starting to scar up, which sort of helps it look like an injured or wounded baitfish. So that's working beautifully. If you take a look at the hooks, they're not too bad, but what we're going to do is we're just going to give them a touch up with a file, basically to make sure that the hook points are nice and sharp. So what I'm going to do is with each hook point, I'm just going to give it a little touch up with a file. If you have a look at the point now, that feels nice and sharp. You put it in there, it's catching on my fingernail. It's pretty good. We'll just give it maybe one more quick touch up here and here. This sort of stuff is always makes sure that your hookups are nice and positive. The hooks go in beautifully, and there's no issues. So yep, that hook is ready to go. It's nice and sharp and it's in. Ouch! It just did that. So so that one really doesn't need much more work than that. It's just a case of going over all the points. I would do all these points up, just making sure that you're just touching it up making sure there's no rust on the points. That's always a pretty critical point, is so that you get maximum penetration. So the next lure that we've got here is a Laser Pro 190 that's also seen a fair bit of action. There's a number of issues going on with this one that I'm going to fix up before we start rigging it. First of all, you can see here that the toe point is out of whack. It's pulling off once again to the right hand side. That means that the lure is going to start to track that way and not go straight. So we need to straighten that up. So first thing is we get our pliers and gently make sure that you get all of the towing link, not just the top part of it, otherwise you'll tend to twist the towing link. So we just kink it off. I've probably gone just a touch too much there. Have a look there, that looks pretty straight there. This one here, you can see once again is pulling, this one is pulling off to the left. So we need to come slightly right, and once again the rear one is actually not too bad. So if we look down once again the long axis of the lure, we've got the two toe points or two hook hangers and the toe point up the front, and that one's they're all nice and straight and in alignment. Finally, we've got this battle-scarred veteran. He is really chewed up. You can see this skim stick here. Lots of queenie and treble action on it. There's, you can see it's had a lot of damage. Fortunately, the hook hangers are nice and straight on this one, so there's no need to change that one. But what we are going to do is give it a brand new set of inline singles. Not online singles, but these ones are 5.0s, and one of the interesting things about these is a couple of times I've needed to try and put some singles on things like Laser Pro 160s and things like our Max 190 or 130 here. The beauty of this particular size hook is that it fits both the Max 130 and the Laser Pro 160 beautifully. So that's just an interesting little aside for it. But so really all we have to do once again is make sure that the hook point is turned down with this particular lure. Put it on like that, and you're ready to go. That one's on. So you can see that one's down, one's up with this guy here. So this one's ready to go. And yeah, listen, we're pretty much ready to go fish. The only other thing that I like to do is sometimes with your tackle storage, as you can see, trebles have a nasty habit of grabbing one another. What I like to do is actually put a bit of a lackey band around the trebles. So what happens is it just keeps everything under control. So you don't have to do it, it's just something I like to do, and yeah, you're ready to go, something like that. And you should have less problems, especially if you've got a lot of lures in your tackle box. Hopefully there are lots of Halcos. We'll catch you next time.